Did you know that one of the most powerful goddesses in Greek mythology lived a life marked by jealousy, betrayal, and revenge? Hera, the queen of Olympus, had everything to be the perfect goddess of marriage and women's protection, but her story is anything but perfect. Imagine being the most respected woman in the world, the protector of marriage and motherhood, yet watching your life crumble due to the betrayal of your own husband, the all-powerful Zeus. How would you react? Hera, with all her strength and power, faced challenges that even the gods could not imagine, and the way she dealt with these adversities can teach us powerful lessons about love, power, and justice. In this video, you'll discover how Hera used her strength to confront the pain of being repeatedly betrayed, and what her story can teach us about human relationships and the sacrifices we make in the name of love. You won't believe what she did in the name of loyalty and revenge. Stay until the end to understand how Hera's story, with its powerful symbols and life lessons, still resonates today. Let's uncover together the 10 most surprising aspects of this complex and powerful goddess's life. Get ready, because you're about to see Hera in a way you never imagined. 10. Hera is the Greek goddess of marriage, fertility, and women's protection. In the vastness of Greek mythology, where gods and mortals intertwine in complex tales of power, passion, and fate, Hera stands out as a majestic and contradictory figure. She is not only the wife of Zeus, but also the supreme icon of marriage and motherhood, representing the sacred role of women in marital unions. Her presence in ancient stories is a constant reminder that marriage, in the eyes of the gods, transcends the simple act of uniting two souls. It is a divine institution that demands respect, loyalty, and, above all, protection. With her imposing and dignified figure, Hera symbolizes the fertility of the earth and of women in power that creates life and abundance, inextricably linking her to the essence of creation. She is not a goddess of lightness, but of responsibility. Not merely a contemplator of nature, but its guardian, fiercely defending women and the honor of marital bonds. Her dominion extends not just over the marriages she protects, but over the very idea of the sanctity of commitment. She embodies the principle that, for love and respect to endure, continuous effort and unwavering strength are necessary qualities capable of withstanding the storms of disdain and betrayal. Thus, Hera is more than a symbol of marital devotion. She is a metaphor for the responsibilities that fall upon those who commit to living with another person, with all its complexities and challenges. In her view, marriage is an alliance not only between two individuals, but with fate itself, demanding a firmness of character and an unwavering dedication to the well-being of the other. 9. Daughter of Cronus and Rhea, wife and sister of Zeus, known as the Queen of Olympus. In the depths of Greek mythology, where the threads of life are woven between gods and destiny, Hera carries a legacy of power and responsibility that traces back to her divine lineage. Daughter of Cronus and Rhea, she emerges from a bloodline that knows no weakness. Cronus, the titan of time, devoured his own children out of fear of being overthrown, while Rhea, the matriarch of the earth, rebelled against him, protecting her offspring with cunning. Hera, in this context, is a product of a generation marked by the struggle for survival, and she assumes her role with fierce strength, like a true sovereign, shaped by the destiny of her ancestry. However, the complexity of her origin is revealed in her marriage to Zeus. They were not only husband and wife, but also siblings, bound by the intricate web of destiny linking the gods to Olympus. By becoming Zeus's wife, Hera aligned herself with the supreme power of the gods, but she also took on a symbolic and contradictory role, being the queen of Olympus, the highest authority among the gods, while constantly challenged by her husband's infidelity. Zeus, in his divine nature, disregarded the boundaries of marital commitment, and this betrayal not only undermined the image of marriage, but also tested the limits of Hera's morality. This union of power and fragility reflects the complexity of human life, where the greatest responsibilities often intertwine with the deepest pains. Being the queen of Olympus, charged with the duty to protect women and preserve marriage as a sacred bond, did not shield her from personal suffering. Rather, her human pain, stemming from Zeus's betrayal, made her more intensely and tragically powerful. The moral here is clear. Even those who possess divine power and unquestionable authority face human challenges that transcend any physical or celestial force. The pain of betrayal is universal, crossing all barriers of power. 8. Her symbols include the peacock, the cow, and the pomegranate, representing pride, vanity, abundance, and fertility. Hera's symbols are more than mere visual representations. They are manifestations of her essence, her personality, and the power she wields over the world of gods and mortals. The peacock, with its resplendent feathers and imposing stature, symbolizes pride, beauty, and vanity. Its presence in her iconography reflects Hera's grandeur, but also reveals a trait that makes her human: her undeniable vanity. She was not just a goddess of virtues and duties. She possessed an awareness of her status and the need to be admired, to be seen as the most sublime among all goddesses. Just as the peacock displays its splendor, Hera showcased her majesty, challenging those around her to recognize her authority. The cow, another symbol associated with the goddess, represents abundance and fertility. It is an animal linked to life, nourishment, and care, a metaphor for Hera's gift as a protector of feminine fertility. The cow is a maternal symbol, nurturing and giving life. Hera, as the goddess governing marriage and motherhood, was revered for her ability to generate and sustain life. Her association with the cow also highlights her connection to the earth and nature, emphasizing the feminine power of creation and the preservation of life. In this symbolism, we find a reflection on the importance of honoring the earth, life, and fertility in all its forms, from the maternal womb to the ongoing growth and care that nature demands of us. The pomegranate, in turn, symbolizes both fertility and abundance, being a fruit associated with a perpetual cycle of renewal and growth. Your connection with Hera reinforces her role as a goddess of creation and the continuity of life. The pomegranate, with its numerous seeds, is also a representation of multiplicity, of the perpetuation of life through generations. It serves as a testament that, amid difficulties and storms, fertility and abundance always emerge, challenging the ephemeral and the perishable. The symbolism of the pomegranate encourages us to reflect on the value of small and discreet things, like the seeds that represent the small gestures that sustain marriage, family, and the unity of all human beings. These symbols of Hera, therefore, are not mere emblems. They are vehicles for reflection on life, love, and the responsibilities that accompany the quest for power and harmony. The vanity of the peacock, the fertility of the cow, and the abundance of the pomegranate are not just parts of a pantheon, but also represent the dilemmas and challenges intrinsic to the human condition, the pride that guides us, the abundance we seek, and the seeds we plant, sometimes unknowingly, for the future. 7. Hera had a strong and jealous personality. Hera was not an ordinary goddess. Her personality, marked by immense strength, stood out in the Olympian pantheon, not only for her power, but also for the intensity with which she felt human emotions. Her nature was contradictory. On one hand, she was the protector of marriage, a symbol of fidelity and union, and on the other, she was consumed by jealousy and rage. Hera's jealousy, fueled by Zeus's continuous betrayals, was a burning flame that would not extinguish, and her strong personality made her relentless in her pursuit of justice, or rather, revenge. It is possible that, in her divine position, Hera represented the reflection of an ordinary woman who, faced with her partner's betrayal, felt her world collapse. The difference was that, being a goddess, she had the power to act, yet the pain of being deceived was still present. Hera's jealousy was not merely a whim, but a manifestation of an internal struggle between reason and emotion, between the duty to protect her marriage and the need to punish those who dishonored it. She could not, in any way, ignore Zeus's transgressions, and thus, her punishments often extended to the innocent, the illegitimate children and lovers of the god. The moral of this behavior is profound. When pain and pride are fueled by a combination of love and resentment, justice often distorts, reaching those who perhaps did not deserve the punishment, but became victims of unrestrained anger. Hera's personality, strongly marked by her emotions and her uncompromising character, reflects a struggle that we all face in our lives. How many times, when betrayed, do jealousy and rage take hold of our hearts and actions? Here's story warns us of the danger of allowing unchecked emotion to dictate our behavior. At the same time, it invites us to reflect on the weight of loyalty, commitment, and the value of protecting what we love. In a world where, often, ego and pride take precedence, Hera teaches us that true strength lies in understanding the complexity of relationships and still seeking to act with justice, without letting resentment guide us. 6. Hera's wrath was often directed at Zeus's illegitimate children and lovers. Hera's wrath, exacerbated by Zeus's betrayals, did not limit itself to him. Unable to directly confront her husband, who wielded absolute power over gods and mortals, Hera transferred her fury to those whom Zeus left in his wake, his lovers and the illegitimate children born from those relationships. As the goddess of justice and marriage, what could be more painful for Hera than to witness the violation of the marital pact not only disrespected, but also celebrated in the form of new lives, born of forbidden and treacherous loves? In her need to restore the order and honor that her husband had shattered, she punished without mercy. Her anger, fueled by centuries of disillusionment and humiliation, led her to direct her vengeance toward those who were often innocent, victims of Zeus's lust. Hercules, the most famous hero of Greek mythology, was one such illegitimate child who suffered directly from Hera's wrath. From his birth, she made it her mission to turn Hercules' life into a living hell, sending him challenges, curses, and obstacles as if it were a punishment for being Zeus's illegitimate son. Her vengeance, instead of alleviating her pain, became a cycle of suffering for all involved. The punishment that Hera inflicted upon Zeus's illegitimate children and lovers was not merely an act of desperation, but an attempt to restore divine order, a response to disloyalty and loss of control. This symbolic relationship between power, betrayal, and punishment reflects human behavior in the face of pain. How many, when betrayed, seek to vent their pain on others instead of confronting the source of their betrayal directly? The moral we can draw from this is the necessity of facing the truth, no matter how painful it may be, and seeking solutions that, instead of perpetuating suffering, can lead to reconciliation and the restoration of honor and respect, both personally and collectively. In many ways, Hera teaches us that the desire for revenge, rather than freeing us from pain, often binds us to it, creating a vicious cycle of suffering. Uncontrolled anger can lead to devastating consequences, not only for those who are targeted, but also for those who nurture it. The lesson here is clear. True strength lies in breaking the cycle of vengeance and, instead, seeking healing and forgiveness, no matter how challenging that may be. 5. Despite being the goddess of marriage, Hera dealt with Zeus's constant betrayals. Hera's position as the goddess of marriage was a paradoxical burden. While she embodied loyalty, commitment, and marital protection, her own marriage to Zeus was marked by relentless infidelity. This contrast between her divine nature and her husband's actions creates a profound conflict that resonates in her immortal psyche. She could not, as a goddess, ignore or forgive Zeus's infidelities, and at the same time, as a wife, she could not abandon the marriage, for her role was precisely to protect and preserve the sacred bond between husband and wife. Thus, Hera lived in an eternal dilemma, balancing her divine mission with her human pain. The image of a goddess who, despite having absolute power over women and marriages, could not protect her own union from Zeus's advances is tragic and, in many respects, morally revealing. The morality emerging from this situation is immense. No matter how capable someone may be of protecting and caring for others, there are aspects of life that remain beyond our control. Hera, as a goddess, had the ability to influence the fate of mortals, but not her own union. This tragic irony reveals a central point of the human condition. We are all vulnerable to external forces, whether emotional, social, or even divine. In her suffering, Hera sought not only revenge against Zeus's lovers, but also to restore what she considered the natural order of marriage. However, her struggle was not just against Zeus, but against the impossibility of maintaining a perfect union in an imperfect world. For her, marriage should represent the sacred bond that embodies stability and balance, yet her husband's infidelity shattered that equilibrium. Nevertheless, the true lesson that emerges from this relationship is that marriage, and any commitment, must be sustained by more than mere expectations. It should be grounded in mutual trust, respect, and an understanding of human imperfections. Hera thus reminds us that the idealization of a perfect union is a trap. One cannot live in a constant pursuit of perfection, as all, be they gods or mortals, are subject to fallibility. The lesson we can learn is that the foundation of any relationship is not the quest for perfection, but the ability to accept and deal with imperfections, thereby creating a more solid and realistic basis for love and enduring commitment. For, as the goddess of marriage, Hera played a fundamental role in protecting women and preserving marital unions. Hera, though often portrayed through her anger and jealousy, was, at her core, a goddess of feminine protection. Her devotion to marriage transcended the mere fact of being Zeus's wife. As the guardian of marital bonds, her role was not only to promote the union between couples, but also to shield them from the challenges that arise throughout life, both internal and external. However, her position as the goddess of union also placed her in a delicate situation. While she safeguarded the integrity of marriage, she witnessed her own relationship with Zeus being torn apart by constant betrayals, intensifying her internal struggle. The protection Hera offered to women reflected her deep understanding of the difficulties they face in human relationships. As the goddess of motherhood and fidelity, she symbolized resilience, the ability to endure and overcome the adversities of marriage. Yet, she also represented the fragility of the marital bond, a sacred contract that, by its nature, required balance, respect, and, above all, sincerity. Her inability to cope with Zeus's infidelity, despite being the goddess tasked with protecting marital ties, reveals a reflection on the vulnerability of women, even the most powerful, in the face of injustice and betrayal. In her actions, Hera taught that marriage should not be seen merely as a means to ensure the continuation of the species or to preserve social honor, but as a commitment of the soul. She believed that true union demands not only fidelity, but also respect for partnership and equality. The moral of her story is clear: protecting marriage is a complex and demanding task that relies on the continuous dedication of both parties, not just unilateral effort. Women, represented by Hera, are called to be protectors of marriage, but also to fight for justice within the union, refusing to submit to the suffering caused by betrayal. In her divinity, Hera embodies not only the idealized woman who endures and forgives everything, but also the woman who, upon experiencing her pain, learns to fight for her right to dignity. She represents all women who, in the face of adversity, continue to seek the preservation of what is just and true. Her role is a call to reflect on the sacrifices women make in the name of love and union, but also on the necessity of establishing boundaries so that respect and equality remain the foundation of the relationship. 3. The goddess Hera teaches us about the balance between power and vulnerability. Although Hera was one of the most powerful figures in the Greek pantheon, her story is also that of a deeply vulnerable woman. She was the queen of Olympus, the mistress of weddings and fertility, capable of shaping the destinies of gods and mortals alike. However, her vulnerability lay in her human emotions, the intensity of her feelings, and the pain caused by Zeus's infidelity. In one of her most human facets, Hera reveals the paradox that absolute power does not prevent pain, nor does it shield one from suffering caused by the weaknesses of others. Hera's greatness does not merely reside in her ability to control and govern, but in her capacity to contain her pain within the boundaries of her divinity. Like everyone, she experiences betrayal, humiliation, and anger. Yet, she does not stray from her role as protector of marriage, motherhood, and social order. Her struggle serves as a metaphor for many aspects of human life. We are all subject to pain and vulnerability, but this does not diminish our responsibility or our power over our own actions. Hera teaches us that true power is not what prevents suffering, but what allows us to continue fulfilling our roles and preserving what is essential, even in the face of adversity. This tension between power and vulnerability also prompts us to reflect on human nature. We are all susceptible to flaws, both our own and those of others, and this does not diminish our dignity or the importance of our actions. Just as Hera appears strong and in control, many of us struggle internally with emotions, frustrations, and the pain of the unexpected. The moral emerging from Hera's story is a lesson on the need to embrace our own fragilities and learn to balance them with the power to continue our journey. In looking at Hera's figure, we learn that power lies not only in the strength of our actions, but in how we handle our vulnerabilities. This silent and resilient strength, which persists even in the most challenging situations, defines a true leader, whether in Olympus or the mortal world. True greatness lies in integrating our humanity with our divinity, recognizing that vulnerability is part of who we are, but does not define us. 2. The symbolism of the animals associated with Hera, peacock, cow, and pomegranate. The symbols of Hera, the peacock, cow, and pomegranate, are not mere emblems identifying her. They are deep representations of her values and the complexity of her personality. Each of these elements carries significant symbolic weight, revealing aspects of her nature as the goddess of marriage, fertility, and feminine protection. The peacock, for example, is a symbol of pride and vanity, reflecting how Hera perceived herself and how others viewed her. It is a creature of great beauty and ostentation, with feathers adorned with eyes and vivid colors that suggest an idea of perfection and majesty, much like Hera's idealized image of marriage. She, with her power and authority, saw herself as a superior being, worthy of respect and admiration, similar to the peacock displaying its splendor. On the other hand, the cow symbolizes abundance and fertility, central aspects of her divinity. Hera was associated with motherhood and the prosperity of the earth, and the cow, a valuable and sacred animal, mirrored this connection to fertility and nourishment. However, the cow also represented patience and dedication, virtues that Hera needed to cultivate in her life. Despite the adversities she faced, it embodied the woman who often sacrifices for her family's well-being, even if her actions go unrecognized. The cow, with its serene and constant appearance, reminds us that love and care, though often invisible, are fundamental to maintaining order and harmony. Lastly, the pomegranate, also linked to Hera, symbolizes fertility and the cycle of life. This fruit, with its multiple and vigorous seeds, represents abundance and the promise of continuity, much like Hera's role in preserving life and marital unity. The pomegranate also evokes the idea of regeneration, the beginning of new cycles, and a woman's power to generate and nurture life. For Hera, the pomegranate could symbolize both the pain of her relationship with Zeus and the promise of renewal and continuity, something she fought to ensure, even in the most challenging situations. These symbols, therefore, serve as metaphors for the aspects of her personality and role in the Greek pantheon. The peacock reflects her pride and majesty, the cow speaks to patience and nourishment, while the pomegranate symbolizes fertility and regeneration. Together, they create a portrait of the goddess as a protector of order and stability, but also as a figure capable of relating to the more humble and natural aspects of life. Each symbol invites reflection on the duality of divinity and humanity, on power and vulnerability, and how these elements intertwine in the pursuit of balance and harmony. 1. The legacy of Hera, reflections on power, sacrifice, and the complexity of human relationships, *** Hera. In her immortality and position as one of the most powerful figures in the Greek pantheon, offers a profound and timeless lesson on the nature of power, sacrifice, and human relationships. Throughout her mythological history, her journey is marked by paradoxes. As the goddess of marriage, she was both the defender of marital union and the victim of her husband Zeus's infidelities. Her figure reflects the complex dynamics that involve love, commitment, power, and the pain that permeate human relationships. First, Hera's power is unquestionable. As Queen of Olympus, she held authority over fertility, marriage, and the protection of women. However, what she teaches us is that power is not absolute, nor immune to life's challenges. Even a goddess as powerful as she was not free from pain or suffering, leading us to reflect on the true meaning of power. Power is often not about control or domination, but about the ability to cope with adversities and to grow from them. Throughout her journey, Hera demonstrated strength not only in controlling the events around her, but also in how she dealt with her vulnerability and the weaknesses of her union with Zeus. Sacrifice is also a constant in Hera's story. She sacrificed for her vision of marriage, remaining by Zeus's side despite his numerous betrayals, in the name of preserving divine order. However, this sacrifice does not come without pain. Hera pays the price of blind loyalty, a moral lesson that challenges us to consider how far we should go in the name of love and commitment. True sacrifice is not merely physical, but emotional, often involving the choice between collective good and individual well-being. Hera teaches us to be vigilant in our choices and to question the motivations behind our own sacrifices. Finally, Hera's legacy invites reflection on the complex nature of human relationships. In her life as a goddess, married to Zeus, she represented the eternal conflict between the need for control and the inevitability of betrayal, between protection and destruction. Her actions, though motivated by love and justice, also reflect the tragedy of human frailty. The moral we can extract from this is that in human relationships, the pursuit of perfection is an illusion. Instead of trying to control others or avoid pain, we should learn to accept imperfections and, above all, practice forgiveness not as a weakness, but as an act of true strength. Looking at Hera's story, we see that her pain does not define her. Rather, it makes her more human, more complex, and more deserving of empathy. She teaches us that power lies not in the absence of suffering, but in the ability to transform pain into strength, to find balance in adversities, and to fight for a more just world where respect, loyalty, and understanding prevail. Hera's legacy enriches us by reminding us that, in the end, it is our relationships, our choices, and our capacity to deal with pain that truly define who we are and the impact we leave on the world. So, what do you think of Hera's story? Isn't it fascinating how Greek mythology teaches us so much about the complexities of human life and relationships? If you enjoyed this video and want to continue exploring powerful stories like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Here, I always bring content that will challenge your way of thinking and provide valuable lessons for your daily life. Click the subscribe button and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos filled with mythology, reflections, and insights that can transform your view of the world. And of course, if you liked it, leave a thumbs up and share it with your friends. This way, you're helping me continue to bring more quality content.